Panerai is diving.
Yes, and that's why this watch is wet, because minutes ago it was a lot closer to that guy and that guy. It was in there with highly trained divers, not with us.
No, not with us.
Yeah.
I think it's such a perfect spot here to talk about a dive watch, because Panerai, their history and their brand was, born underwater, and they're so associated with marine adventure and exploits that it's easy for me to forget, sort of looking back and like seeing it on your wrist, at your desk, that they're built for this sort of environment.
We are today exploring the Submersible collection, because while it does have one purpose, it has many faces.
And I think for me, it's, of all of them, because it's got that bezel and that, often comes on the rubber straps, it's really good for Australia. And I care about Australia.
Oh, of course we do. So which model are we starting with?
Carbotech.
Excellent. Carbotech is a composite of carbon fibre, and the thing that I most love about this watch is that every Carbotech is different.
Ooh,
yes.
unusual.
Thin layers of carbon fibre are bonded by a peak polymer, which means that every single model is different.
Yeah, and I just thought it looked cool on the wrist.
Well, it does, but if you find a fellow Carbotech wearer, you're going to notice very different striations, different zebra stripes.
Maybe to spot the difference. I think, and you got to notice another Carbotech wearer.
Absolutely.
It's not a watch, it's no shrinking violet, if you will.
No.
It's 47 millimeters.
It is enormous.
It is a good looking watch. The other thing though I like about it, cool material, great, looks cool, also super lightweight.
I know.
So it doesn't...
Almost surreally, because again, the heft of this watch to look at is, wow, that's a nice heavy Panerai you've got there, and you lift it off and it's surreal.
What's next, Andrew?
Steel 42.
Steel 42?
Yes, sir.
I gotcha. Because, Panerai, they've got this real reputation for like big, chunky watches. And this guy, make no mistake, it's still big. 42 millimeters, excluding that luminor crowd guard. It's pretty big. And it's getting close to 15.
Show us more.
Yeah, it's getting close to 15 millimeters tall. So it's a decent sized watch. But in the world of Panerai, this is an excessively sized piece. And I think there's a lot of guys out there and a lot of girls out there who, love the look, but can't handle that size. And for me, this watch with its, it's automatic, it's steel, it's submersible, it's got all those design codes, it just hits that sweet spot for me. And I think it's a real core piece in the collection.
So we've gone from carbon fibre,
High tech,
to steel.
traditional,
Where are we landing?
BMG-Tech.
So bulk metallic glass, it is an amorphous alloy, which means that it has less surface imperfections. And again, this means that in terms of a watchmaking material, it's easy to polish. It generally is going to luster up really nicely.
But it looks like metal.
It does, and this is the really unusual thing about this alloy. It is that other non-metal alloys and other metal alloys end up looking not very much like metal. So
I'm thinking ceramic here. Carbotech definitely doesn't look like metal.
No, but this really does, and yet you'll feel in your hands it is lighter, but there's more. Corrosion resistance.
Thank you.
2 to 3 times tougher than steel and non-ferrous, which means
Anti-magnetic.
bang, gold. And as a last point, Panerai has this tagline that's not well known to the public, which is laboratory of ideas. And I feel that these 3 watches really deliver on that notion of Panerai leading the world in material science in watches.